track review.
Hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for track reviews, where we talk about the latest in rock, pop, electronic, and experimental music of the independent persuasion, and In this video, two brand freaking new tracks from Vampire Weekend. They're coming from the band's forthcoming LP, third full-length LP, Modern Vampires of the City. The songs are titled Step and Diane Young. Diane Young. It's a cute play on words. This band dropped their first full-length LP in 2008. Rubbed me the wrong way, ever so slightly. Wasn't really into the way that they were mixing all these indie pop elements with African music and ska music, a little bit of reggae as well. It felt a little hokey. But when they came out with the album Contra in 2010, I totally did a 180 on how I felt about the band's music. I felt like these elements coming from music from various parts of the world that they wanted to incorporate into their albums were executed so much more tastefully. The production was a little more interesting, more textured, better drums, better synthesizers. The songwriting, in my opinion, became a little more eccentric. I thought Vampire Weekend was blossoming into just this very bold pop act. They were showing personality and a lot of songwriting strength, and that made Contra one of my favorite albums of 2010. So now, of course, I'm excited to hear this new LP of theirs coming out just about 3 years later, Modern Vampires of the City. It's going to be dropping this May, and the two tracks they've come out with from this LP, I'll start with the song Diane Young. Great track. Proof that Vampire Weekend, if anything, can write a pop song that is completely accessible, it's melodic, it's lush, it's fun, it's multi-textured, but it's also just really energetic and intense. It's accessible, it's fun, and it's bright, but it's fierce as well. I think another example of them succeeding with this kind of formula is with a track like Cousins. The hard-ass drum beats on this track, some of which feel like they're coming from a drum machine, hit really hard, have a sharp punch to them. I'm loving the way that Ezra is just all over his vocal range on this track with these ridiculous chorus vocals, baby, 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 baby. The band kind of feels like, in a way, they're copying this old rhythm and blues band kind of sound, but doing it in this very new, modern, just fun, playful kind of way. Especially considering they're using all these weird pitch shift effects on the vocals, which I guess in a sense they were using on Contra through auto-tune, which really did not agree with me all too well on the track that they used it on. But I'm actually feeling like the way that they're executing some of these pitch shifts on this particular track, it's just way more experimental, it's weird, it's a lot more, I guess, smile-inducing. It's kind of funny in a way, but it makes the song no less catchy. Occasionally popping up some very refined synth arpeggios. If anything, Vampire Weekend is really great at writing pop songs that sort of hint at this sense of upper crust, snootiness. In a way where it feels like they're simultaneously embracing it, celebrating it, but kind of, you know, making a mockery of it too, by making pop music. They just change gears instrumentally so often throughout this track and just keep it so high energy throughout. It's an awesome couple of minutes. I really, really love this track. I love the blaring horns or synthesizer horns on this song. It's just got a lot of flavor to it. It's got a lot of punch. Now, the next track on here that I have to talk about in this video, Step. It's the slower of the two songs. It's the longer of the two songs. It's the sentimental and tear-jerking ballad. The lyrics here especially play again with that kind of privileged, upper crust kind of background. Ezra, with the lyrics that he's singing though, throws in this colloquial terminology like, you know, you're stepping to my girl or I'm gonna front, and name dropping things like Berkeley and communist reader. And in the previous track that I was just talking about, living like a Kennedy, talking about that Kennedy kind of lifestyle. The way that Vampire Weekend mashes speech and cultures together from different classes in America. A lot of people see it as kind of tacky or offensive or a little, I guess, lacking in self-awareness. But I actually think it's the exact opposite. I think they bring all these things together in such a way where it just all kind of seems silly. Sort of in the same way that all of these snooty, privileged, and kind of sheltered characters in a Wes Anderson movie can seem kind of silly with their various personal dilemmas. And actually, I would have to say that listening to the lyrics in this song kind of feels like I'm reading through the script of a Wes Anderson movie. And even though that may be the case, and I do sense a little bit of a tongue-in-cheekness to what Ezra is saying in this track, it doesn't change the fact that I feel that this song is very romantic, it's It's very sentimental and pretty clever at a lot of points too. I love the hook on this track where Ezra says the gloves are off and the wisdom teeth are out. And the amazing line where he says, stale conversation deserves but a bread knife. It just makes me, ah. Maybe Ezra flaunts the whole snobbish set thing a little too hard at times on this track, talking about punks not being dressed for the weather. But I love how slow this song moves and how refined a lot of the arrangements around this track feel, with all these Pachelbel Bell inspired arpeggios dancing all around the track. I really admire Vampire Weekend for bringing together all these elements that people do not necessarily assume on paper will work, and then actually, you know, mix them and stack them into a really well crafted pop tune. Despite the fact that Vampire Weekend's influences continue to be very, very obvious, I think they're growing to be an even bolder pop outfit with these two songs that they've just dropped from this forthcoming LP, because I feel like these songs really sort of play off of a lot of elements that I loved on Contra, but has refined them into something that sounds even better. Hopefully every track follows the level of quality that I've heard on these two tracks. I love this track as well, honestly. That's really all I have to say about these two new Vampire Weekend tracks. If you've given them a listen, what did you think? Did you love them? Did you hate them? Why? What do you think I should review next? What are you thinking that this new Vampire Weekend LP will hold? Are you anticipating good things, bad things? Let me know. Anthony Fantano, Vampire Weekend, forever.
Need a shave!